Wow Inflatables. So I'm going to try to do a little more of these lives on Monday or Tuesday. I know it's Wednesday. But I'm going to try to do more of them early in the week and give you guys an opportunity to kind of um, ask questions, get information, see stuff on kind of the fly, and do a little more, one on one on the business side of it, for the inflatables and for small business in general, and try to open it up to allow more communication between me and you guys, and kind of you guys can ask questions or whatever you need to do while we're going, and I'll try to get back with you. I'll try to keep up with it and keep keep abreast all the information that you guys need. Um, it's going to be kind of slow to begin with, and I get that. I understand, and I know that it's one of those things where um, there's so much going on and a lot of stuff. But hopefully we'll build some of the followers and build some of the um, participation and get some good information out there for you guys. And if not, then this will all be available after the fact on the site, so you guys can watch it at your leisure, and pick up any of the tips or whatever that you want on there. Today we are talking about businesses and why they fail and how they fail and how much they fail. This came about because I was watching a video about a guy who was talking to a bunch of high school students, and he was talking about businesses, and he said that 90% of businesses fail. And I thought, whoa, that doesn't sound right. That's incredible. If that's true, that's absolutely incredible. But I didn't think that it was true. Now, I know that there are some businesses that fail more often than others, one of which would be restaurants. They can be a little difficult. They can be, a bit more challenging, and there's a lot more moving parts that are involved there. But but just for a blanket, if 90% of businesses went out of business or failed, uh, there wouldn't be any businesses out there. So it sparked my interest. It got me thinking about what was really going on with the businesses today, and how they're affected, and why they would go out of business, what would cause a business to fail, or what would cause it to not prosper and move forward. And what I came up with was a lot better information. It was a lot less of the shock that he had put forth. For the most part, and I got some statistics that I pulled straight from the Small Business Administration on purpose, for the reason that I literally wanted to get some accurate information for you guys, and not just kind of pull stuff out of the air. But the Small Business Administration, it said that and again, this varies from business to business and from industry to industry. Some industries are a lot tougher. Again, I mentioned restaurants are a lot tougher. But on average, 20% of all businesses fail within their first year. One out of every five business fails within their first year. And the reason why a business would fail in its first year is literally not understanding your market, not understanding your needs, not understanding and not planning for any of that within your business plan. So the reason that businesses fail in their first year is because they didn't plan prior to their first year. They didn't do what was necessary to get the right information and to kind of move forward with the things that they needed to do within the first year. So before you even start a business, you're doing all your planning, and you're figuring out how much it's going to cost, and how you're going to be able to afford things, and how you're going to be able to pay for things, and how you are going to be able to shuffle things. And some people will enter into a business with this idea that as soon as I get into business, I'm going to make a bunch of money. It doesn't matter. It's a great idea. And what happens is that you talk yourself into going into business, and you tell yourself what is good and what's not good, and what creates an opportunity for you, and then you throw out or you shut out all those other little voices and all externally and internally that are telling you, wait a minute, be careful, some things may not add up. And when you do that, what you do is you create an opportunity for yourself to fail immediately, because you've shut out all the reason and all the thought process prior to it. So, for instance, let's just take a bounce house business, for instance. If I went into a bounce house business and I said, you know what, I'm going to go out and I'm going to borrow, $50,000 worth of inflatables. I'm going to buy these inflatables. I'm going to get a brand new truck. I'm going to buy me a super electric dolly. I'm going to, hire two guys. I'm going to get me a new sign. I'm going to wrap my truck. I'm going to do all the things that it costs money to do. And then you don't realize that the amount of money that you spent can't possibly cover the amount of money that you need to pay each month. Then what you've done is you've created an opportunity for you to fail, and you did it all on your own because you convinced yourself that you're going to make all this money without even knowing, without even thinking that the money that you need to operate is X, and you've only got 10 units, so that can't possibly create enough income for X. So you cannot succeed. There's absolutely no way that you can succeed if you don't do the planning beforehand. 20% of all businesses, 1 out of every 5, fail within their first year. And the reason why they fail in their first year is because they did not plan prior to that first year. Sometimes you can do a lot of planning and it still fail because you're not looking at things that normally, you're supposed to, not a normal person would look at. COVID is a prime example. A lot of businesses went out of business because they were blindsided by COVID, and there was no way that they could predict that. There was no way that they could see that coming, and they could look inside of that and say, well, I need to plan for a worldwide pandemic. It just, there's no way to do that. So some of the things are unplanned, and they will affect your business, whether you want them to or not, or you have planned for them or not. And what you need to do is learn how to pivot at that point. But for the most part, prior planning will prevent a lot of your failures up to, that first year, and the 20% that fail in that first year. Now, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, 45% of new businesses fail within the first 5 years. This is different than failing in your first year, because if you've made it to year 2 or 3 or even 4, then you've done all your planning up to that point. So what could it be that would cause your business to fall apart after that kind of length of time? And it could be two things. One, your planning could have held for a certain amount of time, but then kind of waned. But I think more often than not, what happens is that you develop a business that does not know how to be nimble enough to react to a customer. So, for instance, I opened up I did a business one time that had the themed runs, like the zombie runs, and we did a ghost run, and we did Bigfoot runs, and they were all themed, and they were all good. And those businesses were very, very, very popular when they first came out, and a lot of people flocked to them, and the money was flowing, and there was lots of things going in, and the planning was there, and the money was there, and it wasn't any of that created an issue. But beyond the experience, you were left with a situation where people, I've done it, I'm not going to do it again. It was much different for the Spartan runs and things like that. Those lasted a lot longer because they marketed themselves to a side of the genre that was devoted to fitness, and it was kind of the crown jewel of their fitness thing. So they would go all year long and really try hard to get themselves into really good shape and do the things that they needed, and they would do the Spartan Run as kind of like a crown jewel of what was going on. So it lasted a lot longer because there were people who actually adhered to that, and they subscribed to that, and they were involved with that, and created a situation where they were making the kind of money from those businesses that they could immediately market to that crowd, and kept that cycle going, and kept the situation going. And they had awards, and they had competitions, and had national rankings. It was really done. It was well put together. Now mine was more of the amateur, in that people weren't there to get into fitness. They were there because they wanted to see zombies or Bigfoot or ghosts or whatever. So what happened is that they went on this run, and they got really tired, and so they did it. And I'm not doing it next year because I remember how tired I was last year, and it's just I've got I got the award, and I'm not going to do it again. So that is a prime example of how after year one and before year five, a business can have all the planning that it needs to open and to run, but may not see that they are beyond the ability to pivot and get in front of the customers and make themselves viable, beyond that one-time experience, or that one-time thing that you do. And we've all done it. I mean, I've gone to movies where I've gone to the same movies multiple times and seen it because I enjoyed it. But honestly, do you go to the theater multiple times to see a movie? You don't. You go once, you see the movie, and then you've seen it. It's done. And if you don't have the population that can sustain that, what happens is that you get in a situation where your crowd kind of grows out of you, and then you're left with a business that has failed within those first years. And that could be food, it could be a taste, it could be an experience, it could be a sound, it could be just anything, clothing style, or a lot of businesses came that were very, very popular to begin with, and a lot of people tried them, and then people got sick of it and they moved away because whatever happened. Clothing stores were huge, and then they kind of fell away because the internet came along, and people were like, well, yeah, I can get it online, and I can do it on a broader range, to where I'm exposed to a lot more people. So if you're not able to pivot, if you don't put your business online and become that open window, then what happens is that you have to close and you have to go away. So after 5 years, almost half of the businesses are out of business. And again, that's a far cry from the 90% that the guy was telling students that happened. But still, half of the businesses in 5 years, that's pretty insane. And then the last figure, well, there's actually two, but the 10 years, according to the Bureau of Labor, 65% of businesses disappear after 10 years. Or within the first 10 years. So what happens within 10 years to a business that would cause it to go out of business? And again, that solely falls upon, now you've gone through the ability that you have, and you've to actually start your business and to go into business and to deal, and then you also are nimble enough that that you should move, and you adjust your business as it's going, so you have that strong base to do your business and to do your business well. But then within 10 years, something else happens, and that generally is that you, as a business side, you start taking from your business instead of putting into your business. And you get into the point to where you want your business to start supporting you, and you want your business to start giving back, and you start neglecting the things that make your business successful because you're taking things out of your business. Um, and rightly so. It should be that a business does for you, that it creates that opportunity for you. But on the flip side, you cannot ever get into a situation where your business is literally giving away, or giving all of its self to fund you, even though you funded it for so many years, because it will arc, and it will fall, and it will go away, because it can't be sustained that way. So in 10 years, 65% of businesses have gone away, because at that point, people have gotten to the point where they have started to draw away from the business, and they've stopped innovating, and they've stopped doing the things, they've stopped being nimble, they've stopped doing all the things that made their business, and it goes away. And then after that, after 15 years, there's only 25% of the businesses left. So 75% of businesses are gone within 15 years. And again, that last part, that from 10 to 15 years, I would say is more of the people who are involved are just done. They're ready to retire the business. They're tired to move on, or they're tired to, trying to, put grandkids into college, or whatever they're trying to do. At that point, they're done with the business. They're ready to retire from the business, and they're ready to move on. Now, I've been doing my business for 20 years. And again, my business is started off small. It's fairly decent size now. I'm not the biggest guy out there. I'm definitely not the smallest guy out there, but I fall very, very comfortably in the middle. And I can tell you that I've gone through every single one of these phases within my business. I have gone through every single situation where I felt like, I didn't have the right plan of planning. I wasn't ready to pivot. I wanted the business to give more to me, and then I am definitely ready to retire from the business. But there are things that keep you going, and there are things that, and it may be internal, it may be external, it may be just, you met a really good customer that told you that, they can't live without you, or that your business has really changed their life, or, there may be 1,000 different things that are going on, and none of those things, can be predicted or can be told, but inevitably it is your decision on how long this does, and you can prevent a lot of those things from happening that would put your business out of business unwanted or unwarrantedly, by just doing the planning and being prepared, and being able to shift and move and pivot. I The funny thing about COVID is that it scared the bejesus out of us in our business, because everything was being shut down. And something actually miraculous kind of happened, because everything was going home. Everybody was doing things from home. So it actually fed into our business, and it created this opportunity for us to capitalize on it. And what we did was we were able to find these sprayers that sanitized, and we created a system where it was a touchless system, where they could book it, pay for it, everything online, sign the contract online. We would come and set it up in their yard. They would just mark the spot that they wanted it in. We would set it up. We would disinfect everything. They would be able to see us, but there was no contact in between us. And it literally revolutionized the business, because we were able to entertain the people who were at home that literally had nothing else to do. They had no other entertainment. So it was a bust, and then a huge boom, because we were able to make that pivot. But sometimes you can't do that, and sometimes you have to figure out a way to make a different way, or redefine the business so that it moves beyond that. And then finally is if your heart is not in the business, then don't create a situation where you are destroying a business because your heart's not in it. If you've gone beyond your business, if you've grown beyond it, if it's shown its life to you, if it's given everything it can give to you and your community and you want to move on, then do that. Move on, sell it, dismantle it, give it away, find a family member, whatever you got to do. But what happens when you destroy a business? And when I say destroy it, is you run it into the ground, you have poor service, or you have poor, quality, or any of the things that you take out of the business. What happens is that you not only damage that business, but you damage all businesses that are related to that, and create a vacuum, or create this thing where people are just like, there's no way I'm messing with that thing, because the experience that I have in my mind with that was, it was X, Y, and Z. It was gross. It was nasty. It was tore up. It was, messed up. Everything was in shambles and disarray and everything. So don't do that. Do the other thing. Find a way to move it into another situation, and you know, uh, continue to give to the community, and maybe you can profit from it. You could sell it and make some money off of it, or you can self finance it. Or there are tons. It is really coming into its own now, where people are selling businesses, and there's markets out there where people are really moving forward, and teaching people how to buy existing businesses, and any business that hasn't been in business for any amount of time has some value in that it has created something, customers, inventory, service area, some kind of exposure or marketing that has been done prior to that. So there's tons of things that a business can do that can be in a positive side. So you can profit from that. And again, don't get overexcited. It's not something where your business is worth a gazillion dollars. There are ways to figure out how much your business is worth. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not on the accounting side of it, but I will tell you that doing a research and looking into that kind of stuff will allow you to, put a true value on it. And if you approach it that way and you move forward in such a way that you protect that value, then what's going to happen is that it will be worth more in the end, and it will be more profitable to you, and it will be a better value for the person that's buying it and the customer that uses it beyond you. So anyway, that was my stick. Again, I saw a video and a guy said that 90% of the businesses were going out of business, and I said, no, that's not true. There's no way. So there's a lot of false information out there, and you guys need to listen. Keep your ears out and listen to the right things, and do your own research. Don't just immediately believe somebody because they're on a stage, or they have a camera, or whatever. Do your research, look it up, listen to it. Make sure you do your due diligence, and that's how you're going to do your business, and that's why you're going to prosper. So I appreciate your guys' time. I appreciate all your views and your shares and your likes and your experiences with me, all of your questions, your comments, the calls. I appreciate all that. I love being in the business of helping people, as well as being in the business of making people happy. And that's part of what all this is about. Keep watching. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and let other people know. And I will see you guys the next time around. Thanks.